Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yay.
Alright. Y'all, the problem is that the idea of a literature club just sounds too dense and intellectual and just might not be appealing to all those, sporty and enthusiastic types out there that just, they're more casual about their clubs. People maybe who might be less intellectual. Those who just, want something that's more fun, like I wanted this to be. But it's not like that at all, We're not smart in here. We just need a way of showing that to everyone, that what we do is we just respect books and we love books and something that speaks to their creative minds, like the poetry we all did and then just apparently just threw out the window because we didn't share it all. That doesn't solve the problem though. What do you mean? Even if we come up with the most fun thing ever in the whole wide world and all of everything, nobody will come in the first place if it's a literature event, even if it's exploding dinosaurs and literature, or like giant Gundams and literature, or, maybe free food and literature, but then I don't think they'll pay attention.
Here's my question. When did people start hating books so much? And I know hating literature so much. Like, sometimes for me, granted, I have loved reading books throughout my life. I always had a lot of people be like, holy shit, you read so much. And I haven't read a lot more as I've become an adult, because guess what? Real life really starts interfering, and it really sucks. Especially when everyone goes, you have to go to work, and you have to go do all these things. But,
so that thing that I mentioned in the last episode, where I said that there's some sort of shame or guilt around doing things that don't produce money, reading books can be some of that, too. Of going, you don't have time to read a book because you need to be more productive somewhere else.
Yeah.
And if you're not reading a book for a reason, like a book club, then...
Or, reading to become smarter or more capable or more intelligent.
Edify yourself.
Yes.
Yes. And I was like, and it doesn't mean that everyone necessarily feels that guilt at all, but I definitely have in my life, and I've noticed a lot of other people, as they become professionals, they not only become really, really busy, but they feel like they're not allowed to use their downtime for themselves because there's always chores that need to be done, there's always other minor tasks on the mental load that need to be dealt with, and so they might sit around and sort of executive dysfunction and get nothing done, but they can't do something for themselves.
Yes.
Which
is what it seems. That's why I'm just like, no.
So maybe maybe it's her impression of being in other things that people won't specifically like it in reference to what it sounds like.
Right.
Like if you said anime and literature, maybe people would come, but that's not really what it is.
Right.
So,
I'm also just like, again, if most people, at one point we actually tried to read the definition, but I forgot about putting the definition up of what literature is. But literature basically is really just this thing of, I don't have it on here. I'm sorry, I have nothing unless you want me to search it up again, which I guess I'll just go ahead and do. But literature really to a lot of people seems to sound like, at least in this universe, something that's very snobby, or basically something that is, far beyond what the children's, would be interested in. It says written works, especially those considered of superior or lasting artistic merit. Yes. And considering that art is debated and argued about for years and is incredibly whitewashed in a lot of situations, that is up to a lot of people's interpretations of what that actually means.
Also, a level of effect is an opinion as well, but that means it's literature if everyone knows what it is generally, which honestly, superior quality and effect. So like 50 Shades of Grey only has the effect, and then you have other things that are barely known that have just the quality, and somewhere in the middle is actual literature.
And that's the question though, what is art? We could get into a colloquial about what is art and be here for 900 years, because...
Soup or art?
Soup or art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so graphic designers do a lot of art. Logos are art, labeling is art, it's all art.
Creating fashion clothing designs is art.
And nobody will come, in the first place if it's a literature event.
Wrong character.
Sorry.
That was Sayori.
Got it backwards, my bad. I just was trying to be, so it's more important to figure out how to get people to show up in the first place, So, maybe we could just lie in the title of the event. We could just say, free candy and hot girls, and then everyone would come and find books and kind of hot girls, and it would be very, very close. And we could have a bowl of free candy, and then it's not a lie. It's just also books. Would that work?
No.
Sayori, honey.
we get in trouble.
No, that's not gonna work, sweetie. I'm really sorry. You know, I like your enthusiasm and, you know, the level of digging into, you know, trying to appeal to the masses and what they like, including sugar, free food, and, you know, titties. But that's not what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna die laughing. Sometimes I just do those lines and I'm like, I'm gonna choke on this line. And after they come, we can do the thing to speak to their creative minds. The thing. We can do the thing.
Do the thing to speak to their creative minds.
Oh my God, I'm so lost. I assume she's referring to something else that was off screen. Just imagining them sitting across this like little table made out of a couple, like 3 or 4 desks kind of thing.
Right.
And then Splat just laying across the middle, like bent over at the hips, face down on the desk, kind of thing, like I'm so. And them just, you know, talking across Splat's head kind of thing. All right. You know, that thing for their creative minds.
What's this? Oh my God. Sayori is taking this really seriously. She takes nothing seriously. She seems like a mess in her entire life, and the fact that I have to fix things, clean things, do things for her so much. Why does she freaking even care? Also, though, for me, I'm having this weird thing of going, again, when did literature become so unpopular? One, and also you got four individuals here. You may have 5 because one of them was dragged in, but it's like you do have some people who are involved. It's also like, what is the whole point of saving the club? You can have a club that's super tiny.
Right.
You don't have to have a club that's huge, unless it's literally one of those. It's a Japanese requirement. You need to have a certain number of number of members, and you also need to do a certain number of activities. And it's like, it's not hard to do
we'll
stuff.
need you to be submitting, you know, your fund requirements and what you spent them for. We'll need you to be submitting your hours used and what they were on. We'll also need to see monthly growth happening and how many new members you're acquiring on a regular basis.
So you're not wasting time.
If you're not growing, you're dying off.
If you're not growing, you're not showing.
Yeah. And you know what? What we want here is like success in the capitalistic model where your company, which is your club, has to be growing at all times. Otherwise, it's just not a good investment for the school.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you're hemorrhaging money, you know, for the services that people...
It sounds like what you're doing is you're just hemorrhaging members, and, you know, we can't have that. Or you're just using school funds wastefully because you're not continuing to expand your business, and thereby that means you're not investing well. And if you don't know, that is all incredibly sarcastic for a very particular fandom, and I mean in the fandom of like work and economy and business, and it's like those are the types of things that I am familiar with, having been in that world at some point.
Yeah. It's rare to hear her deliberating like this. Like, whoa.
She doesn't usually think about anything ever.
I'm like really tired and bored, but wow, I'm actually really impressed that Sayori gives any amount of crap whatsoever.
Her head is usually completely empty.
Well, I think nothing of her, clearly.
It's alright. That's a good point, but what's that thing that you were thinking of that does everything? In that case, do you think food will do the trick? Like,
the thing you mentioned?
Like free food? Like, everyone will come for the free food, even if they're not actually here for anything, you know, related to the literature club. So as long as we just put our, you know, our funds request in to be able to afford enough food to feed however many people might come by for it, we could do it. What kind? Well, I guess we could, cupcakes! The only food in the world is cupcakes and Twinkies. Because sometimes when Splat is wiped out, notice his Splat finally just drooling onto the desk.
One eye very weirdly open, like I'm kind of watching.
Grabs Twinkie, puts gently in front of Splat's face. Slurp. And so there's only 2 foods in the whole world anyway, cupcakes and Twinkies, so sure, we can do cupcakes. Yeah, honey, good thinking, because I want to be a people pleaser, because I'm tired of being a serious, hard-ass, business-minded woman. I really just want to take it easy, you know, all my life
I'm really tired of being a serious, business-minded woman. God, I'm only 12.
Right? You know,
I'm only 14.
At 15, it's been real hard for me to just, you know, make any amount of friends that aren't just absolute cutthroats like I used to be. And this year, I decided to turn over a new leaf and just be nicer to people and think less about the bottom line and less about the meritocracy. And I really just want to get out of all of this jockeying for position and social importance and just be, you know, let everyone be themselves, not worry about all those things that are going to be important once you're an adult and you can't get away from. Natsuki would love to do that. I think she can make enough cupcakes for everyone, and we'll just sort of casually obligate her into that the way you obligated Splat to be someone's friend. That'd be good.
That'd be awesome.
You're right. Natsuki makes the best cupcakes. Given that I've never had anyone else's cupcakes ever but hers, they are unequivocally the best. Okay, so I'm going to mention this again, and I think it's really funny. There was a meme between me and a friend when I was much younger where we basically argued, and in all realisticness, that if you'd never done something, you could be the best at it in the whole wide world, and you don't know, and no one else knows because you've never done it, so you've never been proven wrong.
Yes.
So that's this sort of extent of, like, you know, I have no representative sample, so I could be perfect at this and amazing. And in her case, I'm just going to say one representative sample, and since that's the only one, it's the best, because the bell curve is made of that one sample.
Hey! Because it totally works like that.
Right? That works out perfectly. That wasn't why you suggested it. I mean, she does make cupcakes, so what will you, Cupcakes speak to my creative tummy. I can only write and do creative things or original work if I have cupcakes.
Because I am sad otherwise.
Because they fill me with joy. Because, sugar and food can fill the void if you stuff hard enough. Cupcakes it is, then.
Splat, now you know my pain. Look, she sort of slurps over and looks at Monika just very seriously. This is my pain.
And now you know my pain.
And now you completely know why I just really, cannot stand Sayori. She's just off about cupcakes, and that's part of the reason why I vomited last time, and those
Splat comes in and
were
goes,
all the things that I dealt with.
But mightn't someone somewhere really want something savory? And, cupcakes are a very limited sort of, food experience.
No kidding.
And so, maybe somebody doesn't like sugar, or someone could be diabetic, or what if they didn't have a stomach, even if they were a huge, important person in your whole world? And we're not talking about All Might here. And people without stomachs cannot digest sugar. So are we going to do sugar-free cupcakes to be inclusive to everyone, and maybe some savory cupcakes that are way more like muffins, or
gluten-free.
I say, and also some gluten-free, and also free of preservatives and things. And we need to make some that are vegan because we have to include everyone. So we're gonna have to expect her to make 900 different kinds of cupcakes and also different flavors for everyone.
Yeah, it's really important,
I'm so hungry. Just hungry. God, why do I never remember to eat? It's probably because I'm so anxious that I only think about food when it's mentioned or it's right in front of me. And all of my extra jobs trying to pay for my house since I don't have parents, But it would really be good if I remembered to eat more often. Plus, cupcakes are so cute when they have faces on them. Anyway, we still need to work out the details of the event itself and what those will be outside of the cupcakes. Honey, can we just feed you? Who's got food with them in their backpack? Because, I think Sayori needs something.
I find myself smiling because it's so fucking bad.
Oh my God, they're
this
so
is
pathetic.
so terrible. I cannot believe anyone actually exists here in this club, or that this is an experience at all. You are freaking kidding me. You're all crazy. In the end, Sayori is still her usual self. I hate it.
Airhead. He is completely disorganized and has nothing in common with me.
I just want to die. But therein lies the unexpected reason I admire her.
She's so consistently an airhead and never anything else.
Yay! And that's all I have to expect out of Sayori. So at least in that way, I know where it's going to go. It is eventually going to always go down a particular route of her trying to cope for some particular thing that seems to be upsetting her. But I don't know, and I don't care to know the particulars.
Sometimes she just overshares real hard.
Yeah, and it's just, there we are. Unlike me, who has trouble finding any motivation at all, unless I have fun.
Oh, yes.
That's just how that works out.
So if everybody outside of me all makes me have fun with no agency or interaction from myself and no analysis of exactly what it is that makes me have or not have fun, so I will never get feedback to anyone, then I will find motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. Sayori can put her mind to things and make them come to life.
Stares at piece of paper. Piece of paper turns into a paper golem and walks away. See, just like that. That's why her head is so empty.
I know! See, Ben's reality itself. She's really like, there is no spoon! She is the no spooner! I love it. Honestly, though, that entire thing has a trans narrative in it, and you really should understand that, especially with the Wachowski siblings both coming out as trans, and it's really important to actually, like, comprehend and go through that entire process and watch it through that particular narrative.
And that lens of just going, sometimes you just don't feel like your identity is your identity. And sometimes the identity you've been given just doesn't fit with you very well. And it's really important, despite any amount of sarcasm that you might be hearing in my voice, to really look at your identity and to feel free to change it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you know what? Gender is a concept. So therefore, I suppose that's why I end up letting her get on my case about things. Ha ha! I can't help but wonder what it would be like to see the world through her eyes. Very depressed, probably, but I don't really care.
Well, she's suddenly right in our face. Poof! Wah! She leans over you on the desk and lays her head right in front of yours, Bug, so she's 2 inches away suddenly.
From your drool puddle.
Yeah, just right in front of your drool puddle. I don't want to put my cheek in your drool, but I want to just look at you now. Hello.
She's like, I still want kitty cats on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I opened my eyes to find Sayori's face filling my whole vision. She is oh my god, right there. I nearly fall out of my chair.
Want one of those really awkward cuts where it's basically her face is the entire rectangle, and it's mostly just a little bit of nose and mostly eyes and a tiny bit of eyebrow, and you're just like, my whole world!
My butt!
What? Sorry! She hurt, leaning over, looking at you, getting really close, almost laying her face down on the desk. You open your eyes, her jumps away, kicks over the entire table, throws Monika on the ground, knocks you onto the ground. Whoops! Wait!
Oh no!
Oops.
Actually,
I'm not sorry at all that I just destroyed everything and threw both of you onto the ground and ruined the table desk. It's your fault for sleeping like that, and I wanted to just wake you up during club, this is not a napping club. I just was made to just keep that out, and then I went and read it, and that was so great.
Oh my god, does our school actually have a napping club? Jesus, that would save me so much time. I would be able to sleep.
And I could do that social thing you were talking about, and then also just sleep and ignore everyone, so best of both worlds.
Oh,
so you get the best of both worlds.
Yes, without you, which is even better.
You're staying up late again, playing all those games you always play.
Why are we having such a conflict of going, who's telling the truth here? Actually, it's kind of making me doubt our narrator.
Right?
Our narrator going, Sayori is the one who's always late and never shows up, and she's always seeming, tired or disorganized or whatever else, and we're going, you're the one who's always staying up late again, and it's staying up late to do what?
And also, how do you know? Again, are you guys roommates? Do you live in the same house and you see each other's schedules all the time?
Yeah,
do you text each other constantly about your basically disconnected narrative? So even though you're not really, close as friends at all, you just constantly sort of update each other about each other's life?
Right?
You just have it? You're staying up late again, aren't you? Now that you're in a club, you're going to have less time for anime,
You're staying up late. Yeah.
Splat going, and I have one at 8, and I have one at 8:30, and I have one at 9, and so I'm going to have to write my poetry between the one that's at 9 and the one that's at 10, because that is the only time slot, which is where I usually do my homework, and since my homework was going, I'll just have to do that at school in class now.
Oh my god. Well, no problem for me. All the teachers have figured out that I am not here for them. They completely understand my whole point and purpose to my life.
So what I am saying to you, Splat, is that while I understand that you don't want to change your whole life for this club, and honestly you shouldn't have to if you have any level of organization or motivation, like you have when you're having a lot of fun or when you're just really, really fed up with something like, my life choices in my room, that, you just won't have time for the things you love, even though you really should around a club, but you won't, so you're going to have to change things, and that'll be really important to being an active member of this club that does almost nothing. And I just need you to know that you've joined this and you've obligated yourself to a whole lot without realizing it, and so I'm going to try and hold you accountable for that. And I really didn't mean to scare you, but I really am not sorry about it.
You really did just say that, didn't you? I told you I didn't want to be here. And you just won't listen to me because you know what? In the next one, we're just going to have to deal with that anime later.
Ah!
So thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. We've got some links in the description down below. Also, if you would like to share one of our videos because you're having a good time or want to share and have a conversation starter or whatever it might be, please feel free to do so. Other than that, I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!